Hello viewers, today we will be cleaning and servicing a Holmes pedestal fan. This is not what it would have originally looked like. I had to redesign the control panel on this because the stinking electronics controls that it came with quit, which is a pretty common occurrence. So I retrofitted in these mechanical controls from another fan that quit. This is the model number of this one, HASF1810 18-inch stand fan. It's pretty dusty, so let's get this thing cleaned up. I'm going to take it off the stand for now just to make it a little bit easier to fit into the video frame. There is some kind of a bolt thing down here. Doesn't seem to work because just unclip the guard and it comes right off. Oh, I see what happened. I put the bolt through on the same side. That's fine. That's not very useful anyways. Probably would move a lot more even if we just did that. Get all that dust off of her. Yeah, it's getting pretty clogged up. Must let a fair bit of air through the motor because you can see the accumulation on the guards where the vents were in the motor housing. That's all the plastic parts. We can go ahead and wash those off. Now we're going to service the motor. First thing we're going to do is remove this stopper. And we'll take a couple of hammers to do that. Now there's a wider side and a narrower side. I'm going to tap from the narrower side. Okay, so that's out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to clean the shaft because there's a lot of rust down there. Well, not a lot of rust, but there is rust down there. And you don't want to slide the bearing over that rust because you'll ruin the bearing. So we're going to get out one of the used ticker towels. We'll wipe this down real quick and then we'll polish it up with the sandpaper. Okay, so we're going to turn this on, plug it up, and here we go. Okay, now we'll finish with a finer sandpaper. And you can tell when it's done because it'll get quiet. You'll stop hearing that scraping sound. Okay, that should be good enough. A nice smooth surface to work with now. We'll undo these bolts that are holding the motor together. Neither of those. Okay, I guess we'll go from the back. Alright, now this is going to be interesting because the front is attached to the stand. So what has to happen is the back has to come off first, but the back is bound to the stator because the windings, actually it's not bound to the stator. There's a strain relief there, and I think you can separate that. We don't want to do that. Try to leave the back on. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is we'll have to remove the strain relief. That should give us enough room to work with. Because the problem is this wire isn't long enough to allow the motor to come back so that it can go over the back of the shaft. Hopefully with this removed, let's undo this as well. This is probably reverse threaded here. It's not, I guess. Okay, I'm not sure why this isn't coming off of there. Now I can turn this, and there we go. Actually, it's pretty easy to service because we can access both bearings with ease. Bearings look like they're in pretty good condition. No wear to speak of on there. I'm going to clean out the bearings like this. I think they're pretty clean, so we're not going to see much come out of there. Actually, the back bearing had some stuff in there. Let's try that again. Okay. Now we'll clean the shaft off. And that too is pretty clean. This has fins on both sides of the rotor. These are to keep the windings cool. Usually that's an indicator of it being a relatively decent quality motor. Now we're going to lubricate it. There's not a lot of wicking in there at all. See, all here and all up there, there's nothing. So this isn't going to hold too much oil. But nonetheless, we'll take the oil specifically for FENs. FENs, it says it right on the box, and yet we're still going to have debate about this. That oil, or we can use this oil, which is specifically for electric motors. Electric motors. So we're going to put some oil. I'll put it right on where that wicking is so that it can absorb in there for whatever it's worth. Do the same thing in the back, and it's the same case. Actually, the ones in the back is kind of a darker color, almost as if there's still plenty of oil on it. Okay, so that's lubricated. A little more oil on the shaft here. And we'll pass this back through. Okay, and put this back on here. think it went the other way, but I'm going to put it like this. That'll make it much easier to screw in. Okay, now we'll reattach this oscillating mechanism, even though it's not powered up. So we'll keep it in place at least. That's a very tight fit on there. Is that crooked? Yeah, it was. Durr, that's why it wasn't fitting quite right. Yeah, it's still pretty tight on there. And then we'll put the screw on and let the screw push it into place. Okay, that's on. And now put the strain relief back on. Alright, now we may have an alignment issue on the motor, so let's take a look at that. Yes, we do have an alignment issue. It's very stiff. So we're going to take a screwdriver, strike it a couple times, and that'll free it right up. Okay, and now we'll put this thing back in. And it's spinning very nicely now. Now we'll begin reassembling. plastic threads. Not good. I've heard a lot of people complain about these, not this model in particular, but Holmes fans with this plastic thing. Those strip out after a while. Okay, now we do have to balance the blade still. Let's do a quick test here to see the improvement in the performance. Significant. Already moves more air on low than it was moving before on high. Sounds kind of cool too. Got that like high velocity sound to it. That's actually not bad. Spin down is very good now. Okay, so to check the balance, what we're going to do is I have some hot glue here. Here's a piece. And what I'm going to do is I will stick this on the inside of the prop here into one of these parts, and let's see if that makes it better or worse. Seems like it may be worse. So we'll turn it off and we'll move it over one. And this is a game of kind of guess and check. There's really no way to figure this out without equipment that I don't have. Still out of balance. That seems worse to me. This may not be enough weight to really make a difference. May have to add some more glue in there. I think it's a little better. Let's go over one more. Okay, there we go. It's balanced. Well, it's not perfect, but that's much better than it was. Okay, let's go over one more just to make sure that it can't get any better. Got better. That seems pretty good to me. Alright, so we're going to go with that. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take some hot glue and we're just going to put some inside here. It's definitely not perfect, but it's pretty good. Now this could be either a little bit too much or a little bit too little. So to check that, I'll put this piece in here again and add the extra weight, and let's see if this makes it better or worse. That made it worse. So that's too much weight. So perhaps just a little bit more in there will give us what we want. We're already pretty close. You know, this usually never gets perfect. And it usually doesn't get this good on the first try either. This is going very well. That feels pretty good. We're going to go with that. I'll just show this one more time. So this is what it looks like. Just a blob of hot glue in there. And that adds enough extra weight to put it into balance. Yeah, I'm content with that balance. It's not 100%, but it's a lot better than it was. And that's totally satisfactory. Okay, that will conclude the cleaning and servicing of this Holmes 18-inch pedestal fan, or stand fan as they call it.